Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today, I'm going to be continuing my Christmas movie marathon. Because, well, it's that time of year, folks. So let's get into it, shall we? It's the holiday movie titled Christmas on Division Street from 1991. So yeah, folks, this is a TV made film, folks. Yep, another television film that was specifically made for television. So of course, I do have to speak about the plot as always. So let's get into it, shall we? Oh yeah. The plot pretty much centers around this young boy who unexpectedly befriends this homeless man, and he must learn the truth about caring and compassion, my dear folks. And of course, it takes place during the Christmas season. So yeah, our main character bumps with this homeless person in this movie, folks. And yeah, they become pretty much good friends when our main character had stolen what there was to steal on Christmas on Division Street. So, our main character must do what is right, of course. As mentioned a moment ago, this is a TV made film specifically just for television. And this one was pretty solid, I suppose, folks. It's definitely one of the better Christmas movies I've seen. Yeah, it's goody goody, but at least it doesn't beat you over the head with it, folks. And I've seen this film with Amazing Maddie, so Amazing Maddie, if you're watching this particular review, I highly appreciate the fact that you've seen this film with me. Oh yeah, and I had the privilege to actually watch this, folks. And it's not that bad of a movie, folks. I would say that it's definitely one of those better Christmas movies I've seen. It's pretty decent, I suppose. I mean, I don't think it's anything that's Oscar worthy here, folks. But on the bright side, it's definitely better than some of the Christmas movies I've been reviewing for the past few days. So that's a plus there. The acting itself is pretty solid. I do like the acting in this particular film. And many people over the years had seen this film over and over again. So of course they wouldn't mind watching this quite a few times as time went on. And yeah, this does star this character right here and the boy from the Wonder Years. And yeah, these two actors do a pretty good job. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the entire movie pretty much rests on their shoulders, and they do a pretty solid job in this, folks. So yeah, both do a pretty good job here, folks. Thankfully they do. Boy, it would have been a disaster if either of them were pretty bad. Oh boy. Anyway, actually the acting was definitely on solid here, folks. And of course, it does attempt to have a touching story, which is fine, folks. This is a Christmas type of movie, so of course, it does attempt to have a really touching story overall about family, caring, and whatnot. And yes, it does sound incredibly corny, of course, but it's a decent movie, as I said a moment ago. The writing wasn't too bad. The writing was pretty decent, I suppose, folks. And I can say that the dialogue was well delivered. I do like some of the scenery. Some of the scenery was like quite nice. I'll tell you that right now. Oh yeah, if you want to watch a pretty good Christmas film, I'll say check this one out, folks. It may not be a masterpiece of any kind, but it's a pretty solid film nonetheless. So I quite enjoyed it, folks, for what it is. The themes here, folks, which are like what about love and friendship and whatnot, is pretty expressed in here, folks. They do a good job with that, folks. And this film had been aired on television from time to time over the years. And it's a movie that I've seen this year, and I'm glad I did so. It's not one of my favorites, really, folks. It's not one of those Christmas movies I'm be watching over and over again. But I guess I could always buy it on DVD and just watch it from time to time, of course. It does have a pretty solid story, and I did like the overall plot and the messaging in which it was trying to deliver. I mean, okay, granted, it may not be the most original story, sure, but I still would want to recommend this film for all ages, and it does deserve to be called a good movie. It may not be Oscar worthy, but still I quite enjoy this film as a whole. So it's one of those movies I guess you could watch during the holidays. It does have a heartwarming story as a whole, folks. Well, there isn't a whole lot of Christmas movies about a homeless person, and well, there's that. Just imagine that was your position. You're homeless during the Christmas season. Yeah, that's definitely heartbreaking. I was not expecting a whole lot, especially considering the fact it's a television film. And yeah, it's low budget, of course. Some of the lighting was actually quite good. I like the lighting for you folks. Yeah, it may not be the biggest budget film out there, folks. Sure, it's definitely cheapish. That's for sure. It's cheaply made. But then again, this is a television film, folks. So what are we expecting? And but still, folks, I would say check this film out anyway because of the fact it does have its moments. It really does have its moments as a whole. This Christmas film is definitely charming in a lot of ways. I can say that. And I know it's cliche to say that about Christmas movies, but this one is definitely charming in its own little way. And yeah, it does have its touching story about friendship to life and whatnot, and it works in a lot of ways. It does star two talented actors, and they do a good job in this as well, folks. As for the supporting actors, well, some did better than others, I'll tell you that. Yeah, Christmas on Division Street is in fact a pretty simple film, folks. It may not be as original as it should have been. And yeah, of course, it touches upon this young boy and an older homeless man who must make it through Christmas. And I guess you can say, we get to see how our main character does grow fond of this person and sees past his appearance. And of course, aside from the fact that he's homeless, he pretty much lives in this cardboard box to see an old, kind man. I guess you can say that the strength of this film definitely is the whole idea behind it, is that it opens the audience's eyes to aware of those who are homeless, I guess you can say. During this season, you must be kind to those who are homeless. Whether it's their fault or not, you just don't know the story behind it. So at least help a homeless person from time to time, you could say that. Because you just don't know what happened exactly, really. So, folks, I can say that. Yeah, it's not my favorite Christmas movie, really, folks. But I'll say it's definitely charming in its own little way. And it's worth watching, I'll say that, folks. Yeah, it's a simple little movie. It's pretty basic. And in some ways, it's rather generic. But in some ways, it can be rather a tearjerker, I guess you could say. That's pretty solid, folks. I would say give this a chance at least once. This is probably going to be a one-time for me, folks. But at least I didn't hate the movie, that's for sure. I really did not hate the movie at all. The director does a solid job in this film, folks. The director knew what he wanted and he just went for it, folks. So yeah, don't expect a really deep film, really. It does have a pretty simple premise, and that's about it. There's not much more to it than what I just said. And yeah, in a lot of ways it does work for what it was supposed to be doing. So I guess I can't say I can't complain too much, really, folks. It does what it's supposed to do, and it does it rather decently, I guess you can say. It's something that can be seen over and over again from time to time, I suppose. But anyway, folks, I'll say give it a chance at least once. So, overall, it's a pretty solid film, folks. I can say that at least. But anyway, at the end of the day, Christmas on Divine Street gets an overall rating of a 6.1 out of 10. It gets a 6.1 out of 10, folks, for me. And as always, thanks for watching, and take care. See ya. Oh, yeah.